welcome to the vlog and Merry Christmas. I hope you guys are having an amazing holiday and thank you for hanging out. I know it doesn't look very Christmassy around here. We're kind of skipping it this year, but I hope that you guys are having an amazing holiday. I'm getting kind of a late start today. It's like 2:30 p.m. I like to try and record these things earlier in the day, but actually I had to run to Walmart. Walmart on Christmas Eve, not a fun time, but couldn't help it. Just had to run and go get something, and it was a madhouse. I mean, there's all these jokes and everything about stores not having registers open. That was Walmart today. It was nuts. There was 1 million people in there. The parking lot was packed. Got my anxiety through the roof, blood pumping. So I figured, since I need something to do for the vlog, something to calm me down, would be taking care of the fish tank. This thing's pretty nasty right now. I mean, it's not nasty. It's not like stagnant water, but there's a lot of algae that you can, there's a piece of wood underneath all that green. So all these plants up here are kind of like pinned to the back of this thing with the lid. So as soon as I take these lids off, all this stuff's just gonna fall. This is pretty cool. I actually bought this leaf right here. It was just this with this long stem and some roots on it. And I just hung it in the back of the fish tank, and it has turned into all this. Basically, the natural habitat of a fish tank provides enough nutrients for the plant. So it's growing like crazy. It was growing really wild when I had that big grow light up here. But it's still going pretty good. It brought another leaf out. So it's doing pretty good. This right here is peace lily, and this was one plant that I broke apart down at the roots. It was in a pot of soil, and I just broke it apart at the roots, and I got 3 plants out of it, and I just stuck it in the back in these, in these little black plastic containers. And this one outgrew the container. These two are kind of tangled together, kind of feeding off each other. So there's definitely more plant than I need to have in the back of this thing. But it's super cool. You get to see all the roots and stuff coming down into the water, and eventually they go down into the soil. This is an actual like dirt bottom tank. So that's bentonite clay and rock. And it does a really good job of creating like a natural dirt floor like you would have in a river or a lake. And then all underneath all this algae in here, there's actual plants. I don't remember the names of all these things, but they're pretty sweet. It's just kind of a bummer that the algae has completely taken over this thing. This thing right here is called a python. I think python's actually a brand name, but it's just a big siphon. Stick this end down in the water, and then this attachment right here goes to your kitchen sink or your bathroom sink or whatever. And when you turn the faucet on, this little T creates a siphon, and it starts sucking all the dirty water, and you can kind of vacuum around the bottom of the fish tank and get all the extra food and dead stuff off the bottom of your tank. Well, this hose that I have, it's not quite long enough to reach around the corner to my kitchen sink. So I think what I'm gonna do is just use this thing like a regular siphon and just run this hose right out the front door. So hopefully you don't suck up any fish, but you just kind of swirl this thing around the bottom and it picks all that stuff up and you can see it come over the top. You can tell it's been a really long time since I've done this. Which is pretty bad. You're supposed to do a water change on your fish tank like once a week, twice a month, something like that. You can also use these magnetic scrapers. So this thing just has like a plastic abrasive. You put that on the inside, and then there's magnets on both sides. This has a soft felt so it doesn't scratch. And then you just stick them together, it holds it on there, and you can scrub all the dirt and algae and stuff off your glass. And this is pretty cool without all the stuff in here. You get to see a lot of the fish that like to hide. I have a big old shrimp in here. It's a bamboo shrimp. They're native to like Singapore. They're pretty big. I don't know. He was just right here on top of these rocks, but he just swam away. And there's also these little striped eel looking things that are called coolie loaches, and they hide all day long. You never get to see them. They're super cool looking, but they're very skittish, and they just kind of bury themselves under the rocks and you never see them. But they're good to have in your tank because they just cruise around the bottom and clean it up. These guys right here are like, I don't know if they're guppies. I don't remember what they're called. But they're super personable and they recognize you as soon as you come up to the tank. They want to, they swim up to the glass because they know they're about to get fed. I actually used to have a lot more fish in here than what I have now, but when I moved out of my apartment into my house, a lot of them didn't survive the trip. So the ones that did survive are fighters. Oh, there's the shrimp right back there on the filter. So I'm just gonna keep working away, cleaning up my fish tank. This is like a Zen garden. You just clean it up and take care of it. Not a cheap hobby though. This can get very expensive very quickly. Oh, there's a loach. Freaking out because he doesn't have any hiding spaces. This was a hobby that my daughter and I got into pretty hardcore back in like 2017, 2018. And it all started with a 55-gallon tank I got for free on Marketplace. So if it's something that you're looking to get into, people are selling tanks all the time, and a lot of times you can find them for free. Okay, now the downside to having a Python that I can't hook to the sink is now I have to refill this thing, and I got to use buckets to do it. So where should this guy go? Got to be careful not to block the light coming down for the plants that are growing out of the bottom, you know, in the dirt in the fish tank. In there. It's pretty important when you're refilling your fish tank to match the temperature of the water coming out of the tap versus what's in the tank. And it doesn't have to be exact. You can kind of just do it by feel. You just got to remember that, yes, that is a heated fish tank, but it's only 77 degrees, so that's going to feel cool on your skin. The fish tank is about half full if you're being optimistic. That's an 80-gallon fish tank. So I need 40 gallons of water. That's a 5-gallon bucket in the sink. So this is going to take a while. So you get your bucket filled up, and you got to add some chemicals to it. I got something called Prime. It's pretty popular stuff, and you just add a little bit to the water that you're adding in, and it neutralizes all of the fluoride, chlorine, and all the crap that's in our water. It makes it safe for fish. I've also got this other stuff called Stability that's supposed to add beneficial bacteria to the water. Bucket number 1 going in. Bucket number 2. Number 3. You can see all the sand and stuff getting stirred up. Because I'm not really being too careful with this, I'm just dumping the buckets in because I want to get it over with. But when I say this is like a Zen garden, some people go crazy with aquascaping. If you got time today, look up some aquascaping videos. It is absolutely amazing what people can do with a fish tank. Some of them don't even have fish in them. They just put rocks and wood and plants in them. And it's a Zen garden. I mean, they design little paths and they make little underwater trees, and I mean, they can make it look like a little town or a little village. And it's super cool. I'm kind of envious. Maybe one day I'll get around to doing something like that, but yeah, not today. Number 4, I think. Number 5. Number 6. I'm gonna call that good. Just need to give the lids a quick scrub down. You got to think about if you have anything in your fish tank that requires a full spectrum light like this, well, that light has to be able to get all the way down through the lid, through the water. So if your lids are filthy, that light's not penetrating all the way down to get to your plants. So just something to think about here. Looks really empty without all the roots and everything coming down from all the peace lily. I'm just gonna leave the peace lily out for right now. It was just getting to be too much. It was too full. I didn't really like it, but now it's looking really empty. I don't know. Hopefully, without all the roots in there, some of my other plants that are in here can kind of start to take off. There's a lot of plants in here. Some long grass, and I mean, I don't know what any of this stuff's called, but hopefully now that these plants are kind of the main plant in the tank, they'll kind of take off and fill in some of this dead space. I've kind of been neglecting this tank almost on purpose. I know that's horrible to say, but I knew as soon as I started cleaning it up, I was gonna fall in love with it again, and I wasn't gonna wanna get rid of it. And that's kind of what happened. I'm already thinking what other fish I can buy, what other plants I can buy. I'm probably gonna be looking for some more wood or structure to go in here. I'm gonna try not to do that because this thing is for sale. I do need to get rid of it because this is just money going out the window that I could be putting towards other things that are gonna set me up for success in the future. That's what I need to focus on. But I still need to take care of my responsibilities. It's a balance. A little experiment I'm gonna do. This leaf right here broke off. I just cut it off clean, and we're gonna stick it down here in the water, and we'll see if it grows some roots, and maybe we'll get another Monstera plant out of this deal. And then there's Fat Man. Jack being such a good boy. Uh-oh. Are you jealous? Are you jealous? Sit. Good boy. Good boy. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to all of the BS that comes out of my mouth. I appreciate everybody that watches. if you're really feeling it, if you like the channel, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and I'm gonna be uploading every day. So we're on day 9 now. We're almost to the double digits, which is exciting. That's, I'd say that's a milestone, 10 days in a row. So we'll see you guys here tomorrow for that. And don't forget to be nice to people, all right? It's the holidays. People are stressed, financially strapped. Just be kind to one another. Be a force for good. I'll see you guys later.